Hi everyone, it's Joan from Joan's Designs and Creations. Hope you're all having a good day today. I decided it's time to make another part of my fruit gang. And today will be the apple. So we start out with just some brown as a base on one of my splats that I have. And I'd like to do these so that they sit on them so I don't have to worry about them falling over. Then I use the same red that I'm going to wrap the apple with and make another splat. And I just smooth out those edges. And then I put them, the red on top of the brown. And then I just roll it just a little bit to flatten it out some. And then that definitely makes sure that adheres. Then next I work on my red. And of course I worked on it a little bit before I went on camera, so it was ready. Roll it out to the size that I want. And then I work it around the bottom of the styrofoam. And after I smooth that out, then I add just a little bit of tacky glue to that bottom base. And then I take the red ball that's with the red clay on it to set on top. Next, I am going to work on the face of the apple. And I'm using just a very light beige to cut out. And I have a cookie cutter that's in the shape of an apple. And what I decided to do was use the bottom portion, cut that out, and put that on the front of my apple for the face. Take my tool that I always use, the rounded edge, and put the mouth on. And then with my ball tool, I put the ends at the smile. Then next I'm going to work on the nose. Just take a little bit of the red, roll it into a circle. I put a piece of toothpick into the styrofoam with some super glue and then put the nose on. Next it's time to add the eyes. This brings it alive, and I love this. My favorite part of creating was whenever I get to put the eyes on a project. So I just take the eyes, and somebody had asked me before, I've got these eyes like 1 or 2 years ago, so I'm not sure where I got them from. They were on Etsy though. And then I take that same tool, the other end of it, and then put 3 lines by each eye. It just brings it to life a little. Then for the cheeks, I'm going to use the red heart for that. Since my face is with that beige color, the red will be able to go nicely on there to add some life to the cheeks as hearts. So put a little dab of tacky glue on there and then add my cheeks. The next I'm going to roll out some darker brown, and I'm going to use that as my stem. I originally was going to use the top part of that cutter out to make the stem and the leaf, but I did not like that. So then I just went ahead and made my own shape of a stem, just a pretty thick rectangle shape. And then I just put some lines in it to just give it some character. Put a little bit of tacky super glue and a toothpick in there to make sure it holds the place. Add a little more super glue and then put the stem on. So I have a brown stem. Then I take one of my teardrop cutters that I have, because I use this for my leaves. I cut that out, and then I made indentions on both sides of the leaf, so it didn't matter if you were looking from the front or the back. And I use my other tool that I have, and you can use anything that has a sharp edge. Well, it doesn't even have to be sharp, just as long as it's a straight edge that you can use to make it a leaf. And I did on both sides, and then I added that to where the stem is with a little toothpick. Then I added that leaf to the side. So that's that part. And then now I move to the green, and I make swirls. And first I made them too big, and then I had to bring them down to make them smaller. And you just roll this like into a teardrop shape and then twist and turn it around. It can be very whimsical, and that's all I do is just add a little whimsical to my characters. And just take that and twist those around. There's no rhyme or reason. We just add those on wherever you would like them to add some character to your apple. Then I decided to do 3 on there. So I just add that last one on here. Going to cut that off a little bit. And I just like the way that it come together to show those little twirls on the end of the apple. Then I'm going to use that same teardrop cutter that I have and make little leaves. And these ones I'm going to make green. Do that same technique where I put the lines in there, put one down the middle, and then up each side I just put another little line to give it that leaf filling. And then I cover up where my swirls come together with 2 leaves. Then now I take my white paint marker, and on the nose I put 3 little dots, and on each of the cheeks I put 3 little dots. Next it's time to add the straw and skewer to it. I just put my skewer inside the straw, made a hole, and then put the straw inside that. I put a skewer inside the straw just to make it a little more stable. Then I had 2 fake little plastic apples, and I decided to add them to the spot where they were in front. One of them I just did with tacky glue, and then the other one I used some tacky glue and super glue. Then I made a little ribbon out of something that I already had here, put a little dollop in the center to finish it off. Thank you.